What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Super Gamer Boys. I'm your host, Colonel and Dad, Garrett Morlang, and here in the virtual studio with me is the the king of video games and resident power washer extraordinaire, Adrian Holmes. What's up, Adrian?
What's going on, birthday boy? How you feeling, old man?
Man, I'm feeling okay now, but I'm afraid at any moment my bones will just become brittle and snap in half.
They will turn to dust.
Yeah, that's my biggest worry with turning 30. Everyone says you turn 30 and it's all downhill. So
just wait. When you meet a set of stairs and you go up and you hear crick, 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 it's coming. It's coming.
What if I already hear that though? I've been hearing that for years. Does that just mean I'm doomed?
At this point.
Like I'll get down on the floor to play with my kids and I get on my knees and my knees will
crick,
go
crick,
pop.
crick, 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 crick.
Like big pop, pop, each knee. I'm like, oh, that
sound like good. A glow stick.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Where was it? I was somewhere. It was somewhere recently. I feel like maybe I was at I'm trying to think. Oh, I was I'm on the sound team. I mentioned this before. Sound team at church. So we were like setting up in the morning. Like I think I was moving a speaker or plugging in a cable. I was plugging in a cable and I got down on the ground. And I went to stand up, and yeah, as I was standing up, I went, both of my legs, and they were like, are you okay? I'm like, yeah, I'm fine. Yeah, it happens all the time. It's normal. They're like, exactly. Oh my God, he's like, you broke your legs. I'm like, it's all good.
Bro, leave me alone. Quit trying to old person shame me, all right?
Yeah, all right.
I can't control it.
Jeez. Oh, man. Yeah. So I'm old now. That's it was weird.
Welcome
like
to the club, brother.
Everyone kept saying, like, how's it feel to be 30? And I'm like, honestly, I'm just scared that now I feel like I have to grow up. Like I gotta start acting like an adult, right?
Whoa. Don't get crazy.
Oh, okay.
You're just 30, all right? That's all it is, okay?
Oh, okay, all right. So there's no need to,
you're fine.
Be responsible.
No.
Okay, all right, I'm good. Sounds good. Oh man, sorry, I was just bringing up chat here. I had the thing all not set up like a professional, We're
amateur hour over here.
Dang professionals over here. There we go. Now we're all good. I see you, Plank the Skank, in the Twitch chat. Welcome, first time chatter. Thanks for stopping by. We appreciate it. All right. But yeah, so I'm doing good. But just be warned, halfway through this episode, I might just crumble.
You might just turn to dust.
I turn to dust. That's it. It's the end. All right. Plank the Skank just says Adrian. So
that name rings a bell.
All right.
Let me noodle on it. You keep going.
Oh, they say they have a question. So we'll move on here until they formulate their thought. But tonight, we're going to be talking about how the Xbox Activision deal is finally done. How we're getting a PS5 Slim, quotation marks there, and that Spider-Man 2 is the frickin' bomb. But what's new, First, let's give a quick shout out to our Patreon producers, Bumple Smash, Eddie Martin, Get You on the 01, and our Super Gamer sponsors, Julie Bates and Bummer Mayor. If you want to be awesome just like those folks, head over to patreon.com/supergamerboys, where you can support us starting at just $1 a month. That's right, $1 each month. You get episodes early and ad-free for the whole month, including this show. So you'll get it tonight after we finish the live recording here that we stream at twitch.tv/thesupergamerboys and over at youtube.com/supergamerboys. We're dual streaming over here. So if you miss it live, but you support us on Patreon, you'll still get it right away tonight. That way you can listen to it tonight if you want to, or first thing in the morning before everyone else gets it Wednesday. You also get the perks of Super Later Boys, which is a Patreon exclusive show. I think we have 3 episodes out right now and a couple more in the works. So, hopefully it'll be ongoing, but we still have a couple more to catch up on.
We'll figure it out. We will figure it out. Okay.
All of our Patreon supporters are so supportive. They're totally cool. So they're coming, and for your enjoyment. But right now, 3 episodes are up. So if you want that Patreon exclusive show, like I said, $1 a month, you get a hold of those. We'll talk more about our Patreon later on in the show. But real quick here, I do want to give a shout out to DJ Trues for allowing us to use his music here in the background. If you enjoy what you're hearing, go check him out. If you're on Twitch, unfortunately I don't have links, but if you're watching later on YouTube or listening on podcast services, links are in the description for Apple Music and Spotify, or just search DJ Trues. It's pretty simple, really.
A saint.
And let's see. With that, it's time to get into the mailbag. So yeah, here's the thing.
What's up? Don't tell me.
Let's boot up Super Gamer Bot real quick here. Hang on.
Hold on.
Hang on. All right. I don't know if you could hear the SGB bot booting up there, but
yeah, no, that.
All right. Super Gamer Bot, you got some questions for us?
Hey, what is this? Some kind of joke? Do you think I just sit here in sleep mode waiting for you to give me questions? I could be in virtual Palm Springs flirting with a cute Meta Quest 3 right now.
Gee.
Tell you what, if there are no reader questions next week, I'm gonna put this whole operation on permanent standby.
Fair.
Don't let me down.
Okay, all right. Permanent standby, all right. I don't like the sound of that. Yeah, we did not get
They sound serious. That sounds like a threat.
Yeah, no, it was straight up like we woke them from their slumber and now they're upset because there's no work to do. So you heard it here first. Super Gamer Bot's upset. You don't want a Super Gamer Bot to be upset.
Y'all better jump in the Discord, dude. I'm not trying to get electrocuted or get some kind of like.
They'll shut the whole thing down. I mean,
right?
That sounds like a freaking DDoS attack by Super Gamer Bot. Is that what's going to happen? Our website
might be worse.
Podcasts go down.
They got root level access, so they could really do some damage, man.
Scary. Suddenly, all the Patreon funds are going to some random bank account somewhere. Super Gamer Bot started their own
coast
offshore bank account, funneling the funds. The next thing you know, we're pinned for money laundering. We have nothing to do with it. But
what are you gonna say? Oh, our computer is alive and it stole our money. Yeah, that's gonna go over well.
Yeah, no, not so much. So yeah, no questions this week, except actually one that I have to read myself. So sorry, Super Gamer Bot, for waking you up, but there is a Plank the Skank in the chat. Does have a question actually for us and says, Adrian, do I have to watch One Piece Red?
Ooh, good question. It's technically not canon. However, it is a very good movie, so you should watch it. Yeah, that's pretty much this. So that's the way it is with most of the One Piece movies. Is they're not necessarily canon. There's things in them that they like to cherry pick that are like light canon, but for the majority, you don't really have to watch any of them. But they are good on their own. They're like good what if stories, or like the way I like to think of them is like stuff Usopp made up, but it's just animated, you know?
Okay.
So.
Yeah, I think I've asked you that before too, because when I was starting to get into it, I'm like, Adrian, there's a lot of content here. Like I remember looking up online, there's like, and one of the lists I'd found for like, watching through One Piece, it had the movies interspersed, like, when you get to this episode, watch this movie, and then keep watching episodes, and then watch this movie. And I was like, dude, is this really necessary? And you're like, nah, like not really, like, which
not necessary, encouraged.
Right. Yeah, I'm sure they're great. Like, don't get me wrong, but when I have like 1,000+ episodes to catch up on, I'm like, do I need to spend like a couple hours watching each movie or, you know?
The interesting thing will be if you get through the 1,000 and you go back and you try to watch those movies, you'll be like, oh man, these are so quaint. Look at how young and naive everybody is. They have no idea what's coming, you know?
Right. Plank the Skank, or maybe that's a spoiler. Maybe I shouldn't read these. I don't know. I'm not far enough into One Piece to know what's a spoiler or not, and so I won't say anything. But yeah,
okay.
They have a response if you want to check out the chat, I guess, Adrian.
Let me. I'll go into it. You vamp for me. Go ahead.
Okay. By the way, I haven't watched more One Piece lately, and I'm kind of sad about it because, you know, I was on a roll with the anime, and then kind of went on hold a little bit, but then the live action came out and I was like, heck yeah, this is amazing, got to get back into it. And then I've just been so busy, I haven't touched the anime in a while. But I just got to, I'm trying to think where I'm at. I'm just got to the part where I'm like, they just maybe a couple episodes after they brought on Chopper.
Okay, I know where you are.
So, I mean, maybe more than a couple. I think I'm more than a couple, but I'm in that range, you know, like they brought him on. I think they're just starting to do like something next now with him around. So he's kind of starting to get to know him a little more.
So Plank, so Red, I believe, happens after Wano, if I'm not mistaken, in the timeline. So you could wait until you finish Wano and then watch Red. I think that's how that goes. So that way you don't have to worry about what's going on in Wano. So you could do it that way. Because it's like in between Wano and the next thing.
Okay. All right. Well, you heard it here first from the One Piece expert, the premier One Piece expert. He says, "Thank you, Mr. Goat." So,
my pleasure.
Yeah. Well, that's it for Mailbag. So you heard Super Gamer Bot. Don't disappoint us next week.
Please send questions, because I don't want to see what this AI is capable of.
We don't want to tempt the AI. That's for
please.
Sure. All right. Well, I guess that means it's time for the nerdy nudes.
It's now time for the nerdy nudes. I get better every time. My vocal range is just impeccable.
It's impressive. It's impressive, honestly.
Tony Bennett, who? You know?
I love it. This feels weird to be 20 minutes in, into the stream. I guess maybe only like 15 minutes into the episode, and we're in the nerdy nudes already. I guess we're gonna have to talk a long time about these news stories.
That's what yeah, exactly.
We gotta fill some time here. Dan in the chat, shout out to Garrett for celebrating a birthday. Yes, shout out to me for just aging, just doing a normal natural human thing. It's tough work, but someone's got to do it, you know. All right. This first news story, I guess I could bring up the news story so you can actually see it, huh? That would be a cool thing for me to do. There you go. Can you see it? Yeah, you can see it. This first news story is from Wesley Yinpool over at IGN. Microsoft just bought Activision Blizzard for $69 billion. So
nice.
What's next? That's right. Last time we talked about this, we said this is the last time we're talking about it because we are sick and tired of it. And the next time we do talk about it will be when it's done. Here we go. It's been a few months of no Xbox Activision talk.
We're free.
Say we're free.
We're free.
Over. We never have to talk about this again. You know, fingers crossed.
Thank you, CMA. Thank you. Finally. Now they can just go and hopefully fix Activision somehow.
Yeah, we'll see about that. But yeah, it's official. Microsoft has bought Activision Blizzard for an incredible $69 billion. It's the biggest buyout in video game history, and one fell swoop expands Xbox first-party offering to encompass everything from Call of Duty to World of Warcraft. Thoughts immediately turn to Game Pass and how its library of games may expand. Xbox boss Phil Spencer has already said work has begun on bringing Activision Blizzard games to Game Pass, although he suggested it may take some time for them to show up. Activision Blizzard itself has indicated this year's Diablo 4 and Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 won't hit Microsoft's subscription service until 2024. Microsoft has clearly missed the 2023 holiday marketing window, because that's what it's all about. If you can't market the game, why give it to the people, you know? Given how
how that goes.
Given how long this approval process has taken, Gareth Sutcliffe, senior games analyst at Enders Analysis, told IGN, it's going to be well into 2024 before we start to see the first signs of joint marketing and other combined initiatives with Activision franchise. Whether it's this year or next, it's clear a long list of Activision Blizzard games will soon head to Game Pass, which overnight becomes an even better deal for subscribers. Will Microsoft chuck the entire Call of Duty back catalog into Game Pass? Why not? What about Blizzard's games? It would make a lot of sense. Xbox owners and Game Pass subscribers are already rubbing their hands with glee at the thought of what's to come. But it's worth remembering what this eye-watering transaction is all about, making Xbox competitive again. I don't know about that. We'll see. just because they own more studios doesn't mean they're good at making games.
I mean, that's we'll talk about it in a second.
Let's see. We know about this. It's no secret that Xbox has struggled. They even admitted that they lost the console war. But there is something I want to talk about in here. Right here. A cursory glance online shows many Activision Blizzard workers are happy with their new corporate overlord. Controversial CEO Bobby Kotick has announced he is sticking around only until the end of the year, ending a 30-year tenure. Yeah.
Get him out of here!
Get him out of there, right out the window.
Pow! Right out the window. Let's go!
Ending a 30-year tenure at the top of Activision. In recent years, Activision Blizzard employees have issued a number of complaints about sexism, a toxic work culture, and even walked out over reports Bobby Kotick failed to make the company's board aware of allegations of rape and other serious misconduct. California's Department of Fair Employment and Housing sued Activision Blizzard in July 2021, alleging a retaliatory frat boy culture. Activision Blizzard has denied the accusations.
You don't say.
Yeah, and I mean, there's more on that, but we talked about it back in 2021 and 2022. We've talked about this a lot as things went on, but it's time. He's finally out of there. I love how it's not that he's getting booted by Xbox, but how he put out a note saying, "Oh yeah, I'll stick around till the end of the year," and then
right, like, "Oh, I'm just doing them a favor."
Like it's his choice too. Like I bet you more than anything, it's like guaranteed.
Your contract is up.
It's not his choice.
Right, December 31st. 11:59. You better be skipping your way out of that office. All right.
Yeah. So by the end of the year,
little rat face cretin
out of there. I guess he put out. Here's another article, real quick, from IGN that. He put out an email to employees that said, "I've long said that I am fully committed to helping the transition. Phil has asked me to stay on as CEO of ABK, reporting to him. We have agreed that I will do that to the end of 2023. We both look forward to working together on a smooth integration for our teams and players." I love, though, like, because an acquisition of this magnitude is gonna take more than like a month and a half or 2 months to transition. Like, so
which is why he's staying on, so Phil can focus on like paperwork and legal stuff and all that.
Yeah, but I know, I love how his reasoning for even staying on till the end of the year is like, "Oh, because I need to help with the transitions." Like, dude, like, no, they're just like, they're locking you up in your boardroom. And
I was trying to say, you're just sitting in that chair. That's all they need, is somebody to sit in the chair until January. Okay,
you're not doing anything in 2 months. There's like, that's not enough time to do anything. Like a transition this large, like this is going to be happening for the next 6 months at least. You know, like,
I wouldn't be surprised if they already took his key card and all that stuff.
Like, you know,
they just told him, "Bobby, just come in and sit down, dude. That's all you got to do."
The coffee shop at the entrance, just chill there.
You don't even got to go to your office.
Oh man, yeah. It's crazy that it finally happened, and I'm happy that we never have to talk about this game again. I mean, we'll probably talk. We'll talk about when the games come to Game Pass, because that's what we are. We're a podcast that talks about the game news, so we're gonna be like, "Hey, you can now play Call of Duty on Game Pass." But other than that, like, I'm so happy this is finally over, and what a journey it's been. How long was it? I feel like it said in this article somewhere.
2021, I think they announced that.
Like a year and a half or something, right? Like, it's been a while.
Like late 2021, I want to say.
Crazy. Yeah, I thought it said in this article. I'm not seeing it, but yeah, it's crazy that it's been such a long process of trying to work through all like the rigmarole and legal stuff, and man, and to think they finally did it. So Adrian, what, just like the title of this article, what's next? What do you think is gonna happen here? Because
I mean, your immediate thing, right? If I'm Phil, my immediate thing is I gotta get stuff on Game Pass ASAP, right? Mm-hmm. Now, some stuff, of course, is gonna take a long time to get on because you have to reformat a lot of things. You're gonna have to port them over, right? My immediate thing would probably be, I wouldn't do classic Call of Duty right off the bat, because you got Modern Warfare 3 coming out and you want the focus to be on that, right?
I mean,
so
real quick here,
what?
they won't have to port over too much, because most of the games have already been on an Xbox console at one time or another, as far as Activision games for the most part. So,
but Blizzard stuff, it's gonna take a while.
Yeah, but I mean, most Blizzard stuff comes out on PC as well, and like that's so they just. If anything, they're just transitioning launchers. That's it. It's still going to be the same game. Just instead of having to download the freaking Blizzard launcher, which sucks so bad, to be able to just use Game Pass will be way nicer.
Right, but I think that takes more work than we think. I don't know. I don't think it's just a pick up and put down. My big thing would be announcing what we have coming as far as Game Pass goes. Like even if I was going to put Classic Call of Duty on there right now, I wouldn't put it out right now. I would say those are coming, maybe in a couple months from now, just to give Modern Warfare 3 room to breathe and sell and be the hot topic, right? The big thing, and I think a lot of people miss this a lot, is Microsoft didn't buy Activision Blizzard for Activision or Blizzard. They bought it for King. Because King makes more money than both of the other two put together as far as the mobile market is concerned.
Okay.
So
yeah.
That's the big real 4D chess play, is getting King. So I am interested to see what their plans are with that, or if they're just really sitting on them to collect the revenue, because there's a billion people that play mobile games. I think they checked.
Yeah,
it's gigantic market.
Something insane, yeah.
And you have what could potentially be the biggest player in that market with King. So that's the win that they got. Everything else is ancillary, what are they? Consolation.
Yeah.
But as far as what we're interested in, the actual full-on console game or PC game experience, yeah, I would probably this week, if I'm not any slower, I would be getting the message out, hey, X, Y, and Z games are coming to Game Pass soon. And then I would be at Blizzard saying, how can we get World of Warcraft on Xbox ASAP?
Yeah, I know we've talked about that before. I could see them trying it, but man, I just don't. Yeah, that's gonna be that's a big job. They almost have to come up with a separate version of the game as well. It can't be, because similar how Diablo on console is different than Diablo on PC. Yeah, I would have to control very differently, have to play very differently. It couldn't be the same one-for-one World of Warcraft as far as controls go. I don't think. I don't know. In my head, I just think of my buddy Keith, who's super into World of Warcraft, and whenever I would play with him or watch him play, he's streamed a few times. His screen is just full of 100 different macros that he can do with 100 different keys on his keyboard and combinations and all this stuff and all these stats and all sorts of craziness. So I'm like, how do you even begin to transition that over to a controller with a quarter of the buttons less, like a fraction of the buttons of a keyboard?
I mean, I'm pretty sure the average player isn't playing with 100 and something macros and stuff like that. And then the players who are playing that aren't going to play on Xbox anyway.
Yeah, you're right. The hardcore probably won't play on console, but I mean, it's just, they're going to have to dumb down the game a lot. Because I think people do that more often than we might realize, though, because that is the whole people get competitive into doing raids and stuff like that, and being able to spam whatever they need, whether it's an item or an ability or.
I mean, it's possible though, because people play Final Fantasy on PS5, and that's essentially the same game. They don't cut anything from that. So I think it's just in the way that whatever control scheme that you come up with that works.
I guess it just seems that'll have to be a huge overhaul for World of Warcraft, but something that
worth it.
Something that I was curious about, because in this article they say the new games probably won't become the Game Pass until next year. But I was curious. I was when they acquired Bethesda, how quick was it before games got put on there? So what I found,
maybe a month.
Not
Is
even
that?
Not even. So they officially acquired Bethesda on March 9th, 2021. And then March 11th, 2021. So what's that? 4 days later, they put out a post saying tomorrow. So the next day. So 4 days later, or 5 days later, 20 of Bethesda's biggest games were coming to Game Pass. So within the week, we could have 20 some Call of Duty or Activision Blizzard games coming to Game Pass.
Yeah.
That aren't the new stuff necessarily. If they follow the same timeline as they did with Bethesda. And ZeniMax,
I think we will get old stuff. I just don't think it'll be Call of Duty. I think it'll be everything but Call of Duty, and Call of Duty will come later.
Yeah,
it'll come before the end of the year, but it won't come right now. Just because Modern Warfare is next week, I think. Next week or the week after.
Because when this happened before, like they brought Doom Eternal, and that was a fairly new game at that point, right? And yeah, they had some big hitters here on that this list that came out, that next day or whatever. So I don't know. I could see some, maybe like the Modern Warfare, like the one from last year and the year before, like the newer Modern Warfares.
Yeah, those make sense.
And then like Vanguard and stuff like that. Like, so any Call of Duty from like the last like 4 or 5 years, I could see them picking some of those. Probably, I wonder if they'll put the like the Crash Insane trilogy.
Yeah, like Crash will be on there. Spyro will be on there.
Spyro, like stuff like that.
It's probably some kind of Skylanders. I don't know how they're gonna make it work because you need toys for it. Maybe they have like a digital version you can play like that.
Maybe like Diablo 3.
Tony Hawk.
Tony Hawk 1 and 2. Hawk?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Tony Hawk. The only reason I ask is because I was reading something somewhere, but apparently like there's something like super busted with like the online, and the game came out a couple years ago, and there hasn't been an update on the game pretty much since it came out. Like they've just
that's because they took it off. They took them off of it and made them make Call of Duty like every other Activision studio ever.
I was like,
so they didn't have time to fix it.
So wild. Oh,
but as far as the single player is fire.
Oh yeah, the single player is amazing.
Right.
You know what they're going to bring to Game Pass? You're going to love this. They're definitely bringing Overwatch 2. Got to bring Overwatch 2 over there.
Yeah, they are. That makes too much sense. It makes too much sense not to. That's honestly where it belongs at this point. I can't recommend anybody to buy it. So if you could try it for free, do it. I mean, you could download it for free on
that's the thing. It's free already. As that was the joke, is like it's already free. But it's like, oh yeah, they'll bring it to Game Pass.
Maybe they could do like, you get like how the Riot deal. Maybe you get like characters for free or something if you get it through Game Pass.
Yeah, that's true. On you're right. On Game Pass, all the Riot, like you get all the characters unlocked and stuff like that. So yeah, I could see them doing. Is there even like a special? Let me look on here because if they,
and that's the same thing that I was saying with World of Warcraft. I still think that would be a good idea. Either one of the two ways, right? If you download the game through Game Pass, you don't have to pay the subscription because it's included with Game Pass, number one. Or you download it through Game Pass, you pay the subscription, but you get the expansions. That'll be the incentives for you to get the game on Game Pass rather than Battle.net.
Right.
One of those two, I think, would work.
Yeah, I think, man, I think they like their. Well, I don't know. I was gonna say, I feel like World of Warcraft, like it's just a staple to have a subscription. So I feel like if anything, they'd go with still pay a subscription, but you also, but you get the expansions for free. But I don't know.
You get all pass and you get future expansions for free. Yeah. That would be the big like, boom, kicking the door down kind of deal.
Yeah, but you never know. Like they might. I don't know. They'd lose a lot of money, but. I was gonna say is like,
would they? Because if they make it right back up in the.
Let me finish. They might lose a lot of money with this idea, but just to simplify it, what if they just do both?
They could do it though. They could eat that because the number of subscribers that they may get from it would easily outweigh what it would cost to do that, right? Because not everybody is gonna. There's still going to be people who do it through PC on Battle.net because that's what they're used to.
Yeah.
This is going to be a niche, I think.
Or I don't know.
But I definitely think they'd be crazy not to do that. At least not to have some way or some mission started to get World of Warcraft on Xbox, number one. And I think Diablo 4 is coming early next year. I think the old Diablos come now. I think 4 is coming early next year.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's what I think too. I mean, that's what this article is basically saying too. Like Call of Duty, the new Call of Duty and the new Diablo 4 like aren't coming until well into 2024 is what this article said. So, yeah, I don't know. We'll see. It'd be nice to have Diablo 4 sooner, but it sounds like both of the any new games are a ways off, which
right.
I get. Takes time to get them.
Well, they want to get as many sales as they can out of them first.
Exactly.
Like Diablo 4 has been out for a while, so I can see that being early next year. And then Modern Warfare 3, I can see being late next year because that'll be around the time that the next whatever Call of Duty is coming out.
Right.
So then they would just push that one to Game Pass and push the new one to buy.
Or like at Summer Game Fest, they announce it. So like at the beginning of summer, like, hey,
right.
Kicking off summer, all the kids are off on summer break for school. Play Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 with Game Pass. Boom. There you go. Like they get they get a huge spike in subscriptions over the summer, and then yeah, they're set well into the fall is when the new one comes out. Yeah. Yep. So yeah.
Is Candy Crush on PC?
I think it is. I don't.
Why don't we put Candy Crush on PC Game Pass?
Candy Crush Saga. Surprisingly, the internet doesn't have the answer. It's wild.
That sounds like a no-brainer to me. PC Game Pass exclusive.
Yes, it was brought to Windows in 2015.
There we go. I don't know what the hook would be because I don't play Candy Crush, but I'm sure like some kind of currency or gem or something that you can do.
There's already a currency in there because it's already a free-to-play game.
Right.
So it's just basically they would just be making money off of the currency.
They'd have to come up with some kind of hook that your average Candy Crush player would be like, oh God, I gotta have that, you know?
Oh, to make it worth jumping into Game Pass instead, yeah.
Right.
Well,
right.
Yeah, I'm sure it would be like some of the in-app purchases here. I'm looking at Wikipedia and it says some of the in-app purchases are like extra lives or extra time or whatever. Like I just imagine like, oh, each month maybe they get bonus lives or something like that.
Right.
That's something.
Or even make like exclusive levels. I don't know, Game Pass exclusive levels or yeah. Look, I don't know what the game consists of. I know it's a puzzle game, but that's about the extent of it. So
sorry, excuse me. So I felt like something was tickling my ear in my headphones. I keep taking off and expecting to see a spider. I am happy. I'm happy to report there's nothing in my headphones, but something keeps.
That's Super Gamer by sending a little jolt there, letting you know I'm watching. I'm waiting.
Electrocuting me through my headphones. I don't
it's like changing the current.
I don't like that one bit. Yeah, no, this is this could change so much for the Xbox, especially the Game Pass landscape here. But it changes as like it's gonna change Game Pass a lot and the value of Game Pass. But my biggest worry still, and we've talked about this already before, Xbox can barely manage all the new Bethesda and ZeniMax studios. How in the world are they supposed to now manage all these new Activision Blizzard King, like this studio, like and all the studios that are under that umbrella? I'm just worried about the quality of some games going forward, unless they can get more people that Phil Spencer can release some control and pass it on to other people. He still maybe checks in with them, but there needs to be more, I don't know, just more people who care and with power that are closer to the studios. Because I feel like, and maybe they have that and they're just not vocal about it, but at this point, the way they portray it seems like Phil kind of likes to have his fingers in all the pies, and it's a little too much. Like it's almost like, no, you just need to have like someone with close to Phil's power, but actually like this person works just with this this group of studios, like maybe like 2 or 3, and then this person deals with these 2 or 3. This person deals with these 2 or 3. You know, kind of like break up the power a little bit, and they all report to him, and he can hear updates and stuff. But they need this better quality control, because like, yeah, it's sad like what happened with Redfall, and even I don't know, like Starfield was not a
home run.
Well, I was gonna say it wasn't. It wasn't a home run, but it also wasn't a failure. I wouldn't say Starfield was a failure in any way, but it also wasn't quite the home run that they were hoping for. And so something needs to change. Something needed to change, and now more so when they pile on another bunch of studios. Like, oh, something really needs to change, so that way the trajectory of their quality is better. It's because at this point it seems like they're going for quantity over quality, and that's scary. That's always scary, because that just means the quality is out the window. There's only so much you can do. So I don't know. I hope the best for them, because they have great IPs, both Xbox and now Activision Blizzard. So I'm really hoping they can keep making cool stuff, but it's just there's just been some red flags over the last few years, and it's worrisome. That's all.
Somebody had a good question earlier I can't remember who said it, but it's an interesting ask. If you're Phil Spencer and you're Microsoft, do you get rid of the Activision name?
No,
because it has so much attached to it.
Yeah, you can't.
And why's that?
Because exactly like you just said, it has so much attached to it, like history wise. Activision is like, that's like Twitter rebranding to X. If you got rid of Activision and called it something else, or just like I called it whatever, I think that'd be the same thing as calling, like when they rebranded Twitter to X.
You think so? I don't think many people hold Activision in as high regard as they did, 20 years ago at this point in time. I think
no, but it's
I
still
think when
like
people
the history.
I think but I think when people hear Activision, they think more of the controversy now than they do of, oh, this company's been around a long time. Activision also I don't know, have they like I don't necessarily see them as like, oh, they're such a tentpole, like a foundation. I mean, I don't know. I don't see them as the juggernaut that they once were. Most times now when you talk about Activision, people just think of Call of Duty and not the history of it.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think you're wrong, but yeah, I again, like, I mean, again, I could argue the same thing about Twitter. Like more recently, like, I think people have talked trash about Twitter and whatnot, and it's like probably at its lowest point value wise, but people are still lost their minds at the name change and like and all that. So I just even though I don't know, I just think it'd be a dumb thing. Like there's just so much, again, so much history there to just be like, nah, we're ditching the name and you're just gonna be absorbed into X, Y, and Z studio. That just seems wild to like, you spent $69 million on something. $69 billion on something. It would just seem wild to just throw away all that. This is a cringy word, but clout, that name, whether positive or negative, which again, recency bias, it's negative, but honestly, if you think about it, you're like, man, like there's just a history there, a storied history between the two, between Activision and Blizzard. Like they have a.
I'm not throwing away Blizzard. No. Blizzard is like salvageable at this point for me. I feel like you can still turn Blizzard around, but I think when I think Activision, I feel like that as a brand, it's too far gone. As far as its current day reputation is concerned, I don't think that they've done anything of note, like of regard, worthy of the name of Activision, if that makes sense. To warrant carrying that mantle. I know it's history to it, but
yeah, I'm just looking at some of their properties they have here. I'm just kind of curious. Now I'm trying to think like
all the properties everything stays the same. We just don't call it Activision anymore. We call it just Xbox Game Studios. maybe we come up with another name for it or something, but
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't see a reason to keep calling it Activision when you're trying to rest on 40-year-old laurels that most of the audience today has never even heard of or played, you know?
Yeah, but I think there's not necessarily a good reason to change the name either. Like, I can't think of a solid good reason to change it.
I mean, the guy sitting in the head office is a pretty good reason.
Yeah, which
that for starters,
which they're ditching at the end of the year. So it's like
they are
like they're cleaning house, hopefully, starting to at least. Yeah, it seems like let's see, the 90s, the Quake series, Tony Hawk series. In 2000, had Spider-Man, X-Men, Call of Duty, Wolfenstein. They did Doom 3, Guitar Hero, Crash Bandicoot series, Spyro the Dragon, Prototype, 2010.
Prototype was EA, I thought.
Not according to Wikipedia. Let me double check that. Prototype 2 was published by Activision. Yeah. So you're right. Like, there's not a ton of stuff that you're like, oh yeah, Activision, yep. But again, it's just like they've been around since 1979, like decades and decades of just a history behind that name. It just seems crazy to throw it away, you know. But again,
I don't think there's anybody these days that are like, oh, an Activision game, instant purchase, you know. Like people would say, oh, a Nintendo game?
Yeah. But people know the name.
A Sega game?
Yeah.
PlayStation game?
You're right. But but people still know that they might not be going out to buy an Activision game specifically, but I think people see it and they know, oh yeah, I know Activision. They make Call of Duty, they make whatever. And so, yeah, it would just seem especially with Xbox buying it now, this is their chance to turn that around and to either bring back old IPs or make up some new IPs now and kind of rebuild that name. Here's their chance to rebuild a name that people already know and to polish it up and make it this tentpole thing for them now. Like, people can be like, oh, okay, this is the Activision that we all think we remember. Because you're right. Like, yeah, looking back here, it's like, all right, they didn't necessarily have a lot, but I don't know, like me, like just now, like I kind of looked at it rose-colored glasses, like, oh yeah, Activision did everything, right? Like I remember that, like they made great games, and then I look at the list, I'm like, really, they didn't make that much,
right?
But that's the whole thing. Like, oh, okay, like even though they didn't make that much, there's other people in the world who are like me who still be like, oh yeah, and Activision, they make good stuff, and if they actually looked at it, they'd be like, oh, well, maybe not, but again, I think this is a chance to kind of like what people remember, making that a reality now. What they think they remember, making that a reality now, because there's people, I think most people know Activision, but you're right. They're not necessarily going to, kind of like back in the day, like I remember, growing up, I've told the story of like me and my dad, like when we heard like, oh, we got to go get the new Ubisoft game. Didn't matter what it was. Like Ubisoft made it, it's a banger. And so this is Activision's chance to kind of like get back at that on a caliber like that, I think. Wait, now that Xbox owns it.
Yeah. Them and Blizzard.
Yeah. I don't know. We'll see.
Have to keep our eye on it, I guess. Hopefully it works out. But yeah. They got to Xbox has to get better at balancing these studios, or else this is all going to be for nothing.
Yeah. No, 100%. They're just going to keep piling on all these studios putting out mediocre.
They're an Embracer group that can afford it.
Right, exactly. Yeah, it becomes Embracer group, but they're not having to shut stuff down because they just they got Bill Gates money. All right. Well, that's it for that news story. Let's move on to the next one here. Sony confirms PS5 Slim for this holiday season. This comes to us from IGN, written by Wesley Yinpool, same person who wrote the last article there for us. Sony has confirmed the heavily rumored PlayStation 5 Slim, which is due out for this holiday season. The smaller PS5 design comes with 1 terabyte in storage. Oh, okay, so it is an updated hard drive. I thought I'd
barely.
read that. Yeah, barely. For the PS5 and the PS5 Digital Edition, up from $825. So yeah, not a ton more, but it's a little bit more. And the new model provides the option to add an Ultra HD Blu-ray drive to the PS5 Digital Edition. In a post on the PlayStation blog, Sid Schumann, Senior Director, SIE Content Communications, said Sony created this new PS5 to address the evolving needs of players. Our engineering and design teams collaborated on a new form factor that provides greater choice and flexibility, Schumann said. The same technology features that make PS5 the best to play are packed into a smaller form factor, along with an attachable Ultra HD Blu-ray disc drive and a 1 terabyte SSD for more internal storage. And here's some images to you podcast viewers. Kind of interesting design. It doesn't look much different other than supposedly it's a little smaller. Barely. The new PS5 has been reduced in volume by more than 30% and weight by 18 and 24% compared to the previous model, Sony said. There are 4 separate cover panels with the top portion in a glossy look while the bottom remains in matte. If you buy the PS5 Digital Edition, you can add the Ultra HD Blu-ray disc drive for PS5 later, as it will be sold separately for $79.99. The new PS5 model will be available starting this November in the US at select local retailers and direct.playstation.com where available, Sony added. So here's the breakdown of pricing, and this is where things get a little out of hand. Also, my camera just shut down.
Ridiculous. This is where they get ridiculous.
Yeah, this is where everything gets real wonky with everything they're doing here. So the PS5 with the Blu-ray drive is $500. You know what? No different than it was before. All right, cool. I mean, it would have been nice if it was a little discounted, but whatever. That's usually what happens with the Slim, as it gets cheaper. But all right, okay, whatever. The PS5 Digital Edition is up $50. That's right, it's $449 now. It was $400 previously. They apparently made it smaller, but you pay more for it. I don't know.
What are we? Insanity.
I don't know. I don't know how that works. I don't know why. That's how. I don't know. It is just wild. And then, like we said before, if you want to upgrade to the disc drive, it's an extra $80. So I would have been fine with, okay, if I upgrade my disc drive later, it's going to cost me $80. That would have been fine if the PS5 Digital is staying at $40, because it's almost like it's dumb, but it's like, all right, I pay a little bit of a quote unquote penalty for upgrading later. Whatever. Cool. Fine.
Right.
But since the digital went from $400 to $450 and then it's another $80 on top of that, I'm like, what? That's just wild. I don't know what they're smoking over there. Absolutely wonky.
It doesn't make sense, right? Because if you're Sony, you want to incentivize people to buy the digital version, so they buy directly from you, right? So why would you charge? It's a deterrent, really. Yeah. If you think about it, right? If you buy the digital one, making the disc drive more expensive than buying the physical makes it so that you make sure that you think twice before you buy that drive, because you know you're going to end up paying more than you would have for the one with the drive bundled in. So it's kind of it's a scheme on that end, right? So did you mention that the stand, you have to buy the stand now?
That's the next part here. So it comes with a horizontal stand, which is interesting. So with the normal PS5, it comes with a stand that works both horizontally and vertically. So you can use it both ways. With this PS5 Slim, it comes with a stand, but only the horizontal stand, which who in the world stands their PS5 horizontally? I don't know. Because
serial killers?
Yeah, right. But if you want to buy the vertical stand, which is the proper way to display your PS5, it costs you an extra $30 for the vertical stand. Apparently it works with all models of the PS5. So not only the Slim one, but it works with mine. So, which is wild. So if you want to upgrade it, I think it's metal. If I was looking at it, it was like so it's a new metal stand, basically, shiny chrome, whatever. So if I want a chrome stand for the mine or for my Slim, it's going to be an extra 30 buckaroonies, which is wild. But I don't know what they're smoking over there. Like, not only do they up the price of the digital, but then they're like, oh, also the stand that it comes with only works in one orientation. If you want to do the other one, it's DLC. You got to pay the DLC, dude. You know. So here's some specifications. It's all the same specs. The only thing that's changing is the SSD going up to 1 terabyte. And then
also not worth $50, but go ahead, Sony.
Yeah. And here's the external dimensions. They have it in millimeters, but I'm not going to read this. You can look at it in the video here. I highlighted it for you.
It's 30% smaller and 20% lighter, I believe.
So that's the thing. They say that, but then when I read somewhere else, I was reading an article that had the measurements in inches, and I was like, I pulled out the tape measure and measured mine. I'm like, oh, they say 30% in my head. I'm like, oh, 30%, that sounds pretty decent. And then I actually like measured it out. I'm like, oh, that's like barely smaller. Like, it's barely slimmer. It's like, is that
it should
worth
be a
it?
third off, basically, but
Right. Like, if you're supposedly cutting it down a third, first of all, like, I don't know. To me, it's just wild that if I was to buy it, it would barely actually be smaller, and then on top of that, they're charging me more for it. Like, it's getting smaller and lighter, and then they're taking pieces and parts out of this thing, and then they're gonna charge me more for it. I don't know. PS5 or PlayStation is just kind of losing their mind over there.
this really could have been a slam dunk, man.
Yeah.
Like, you could have done 400 for the disc model. And then even if you wanted to raise the price, it would have still been $350 for the digital. But if you really want to like get aggressive with it, get mean with it, if I'm Sony, because PlayStation's, they're not selling at a loss anymore. They've been selling at a profit for a while, right? Mm-hmm. What I'm doing, my disc edition is 400. My digital edition is 300. I'm going right after Series S.
Yeah. Do it.
Even if that means the digital has the smaller hard drive just to compensate for that.
Right.
Like it keeps the same 825 hard drive. I would do it. Cuz you'd have to be a maniac to not buy a PS5 over a Series S if they are the exact same price.
Yeah. I guess what's so bizarre to me as well is, like, historically, when the Slim Edition comes out, it's discounted.
It's cheaper.
Like when the PS2 went to the PS2 Slim, PS3 went to PS3 Slim.
Yeah.
And then PS3 even had the Super Slim. You know, they came out with 2 different versions.
And that got
Slim.
even cheaper too.
Not even like that's what when I finally bought my own PS3, it was the Super Slim for like $150, you know,
right.
or like 100. It was like our Black Friday deal. I think it was down to like 100. I paid $100 for my PS3. So it's like, wow. It just, what is going on over there that they're like, again, like this just doesn't make sense historically even either. Like, why would I pay more for something? Or even the same, like the disk drive one is the same. Why is it the same and more for something that's smaller? Like, the whole point of the Slim is to bring in, all right, we've made plenty of sales on the original, and we want to bring in the next group of people who might be interested in upgrading from the PS4. All right, let's drop the price a hair. And then like in another 3 years, all right, here's the Super Slim where we can bring in the next batch of people. Like, even just, I don't know. This is a new strategy, and I don't think it's going to work out for them.
It's greedy.
That's my
What else could it be?
Yeah.
It's not inflation. It can't be inflation.
No.
Because if it was real inflation, you would have increased the price here, just like you increased it in all the other markets at the same time. Yeah. So it can't be that. So don't try to use that card. It's greed.
Yeah.
Like I feel like they had the perfect opportunity. $399 main unit, $299 digital unit. I would have made the drive $100.
Yeah. The drive. Oh yeah. For like to upgrade the Slim. Yeah. So that way you're just paying the same price or whatever, like as the disc drive. Like you're not actually getting penalized or anything for it. Yeah, 100%.
Right. So yeah, I would have did $399, $299, make the drive $99, and then I would do everything in my power to just crush Series S. There's no reason you would be buying a Series S at all. Yeah. And then you're also undercutting the X by $100 too.
Yeah, exactly. People at the price of an S, you're getting similar power to an X.
Right.
And PlayStation just laughs all the way to the bank, but instead they're going the greedy route and they're actually going to lose money probably.
Dumb.
Right?
Dumb.
They could make more money by actually charging less probably, but instead they're going to charge more and everyone's going to be like, what? Like, no, thank you.
This makes no sense.
I'll wait.
Also, charging for the stand is literal
highway robbery.
Insanity behavior. I've never heard it. I've heard of like charging for stands that it didn't come with the system.
Right.
Like at all.
Because for the PS3 and the PS2, they had separately sold stands, but it's because like
I never bought a stand for my PS3.
No,
it just stood up.
Yeah.
It has feet on the bottom.
But the design of these, they force you, if you want to stand up, you have to, unless you're fine with it like precariously just
floating
there, like, or duct tape it to the desk. I don't know. Like, it's like such a terrible design. Like, it doesn't stand on its own unless you really want to tempt fate. Yeah, I don't know what's going on over at Sony, but they just hate their customers.
I mean, with the random price hikes to PS Plus, PSVR being $550, right. It's tough to make a case that they don't.
Imagine buying a PSVR 2 for $550 when for $500 you could buy the Quest 3, which is just like
there's no way to justify that.
People are raving about how awesome. I mean, there's not to say there's not. Like I watched a video today called "The Good, Bad, the Ugly." There are bad things. There's ugly things about Quest 3, but overall,
I mean, with every product.
But with overall, like people are like loving the technology, and it's a self-contained unit. You don't need a console or a PC, and like,
I mean,
what madman buys a PSVR 2 when I can spend $50 less and have something that I can use anywhere I want and have just as good fidelity and tracking and all that stuff.
Also, you have to factor in, right? You can't just tell people that PSVR 2 is $50 or $550. It's not. It's at least $950 because you have to buy the PS5 to power it. Exactly. So you're looking at the minimum $950 to run a PSVR 2 versus $500 for the Quest.
Yeah.
So you're not making a very good case here, especially with one exclusive title that's out right now,
which I will.
Or one premiere like headlining title.
I want to address something I just said a minute ago about it having similar quality to PSVR 2. I know that's not technically 100% accurate because in the self-contained unit, it's going to be a lower fidelity than the PSVR 2, but it has the ability to be on par if you use it with like the Oculus Link and stuff like that. So self-contained, because I know we've gotten hate in the past when we talked about PSVR. Well, it was like 6 months ago. Remember that guy in the comments said there's no way an Oculus.
Oh yeah.
The Quest 3 is well, yeah, here it is. It's out. Came out a couple days ago.
Well, dude. Of course, physics wouldn't allow that. It's not physically possible for a Quest 3 to be equally as powerful as a PS5.
We're right again. We were right about Starfield. We're right about Quest 3. Imagine that.
Physics doesn't allow that, dude.
Anyways, I just want to clarify before you jump in the comments and jump down my throat again. I understand that 1-to-1, one has less, but the Quest 3 I think has the capability to be just as good as the PSVR 2. It just through the link cable, which is honestly how I use my Quest more often than not. I actually rarely use it as just its own standalone unit. I usually use it with my PC or with my laptop or whatever, but
or just the fact that it is a self-contained unit could be the better experience for the player depending on what you're doing.
Oh, 100%. Like that's another thing. Like being able to jump in the Beat Saber and not have any wires, like that's phenomenal. Like
not having to pack up my whole PlayStation 5 if I want to take it over to a friend's house to show it off to them.
Dude,
that alone is worth the consideration. So
I played Arizona Sunshine with my parents, like the zombie game, and like the standalone in the headset unit, and like the game looks incredible. And that's in my Quest 2. I don't even have the Quest 3 yet. I'm hankering to pick up the Quest 3 probably in the next few months. I'm gonna wait for the sale.
One day.
For the sale, because the Quest 2.
Oh, you're gonna be waiting a while.
Well, no, what was it? It was the Quest Pro or the Oculus Pro, whatever it's called. I was reading an article that they were like, yeah, within like 3-4 months, like that ended up dropping in price. They think there's a chance the Quest 3 could either go on sale or drop in price within the next 6 months or so. I'm like, all right, I can hold
The best you'll probably get is like $50 off.
Hey, $50 is $50.
I'm just saying, I wouldn't be in the market for like, oh, Quest 3 is $350 now or something like that.
No, I'm just looking.
Maybe the end of next year you might see something crazy like that.
No, I mean I'm just looking for, because I don't need a VR headset right now, so that's why I'm like, because my Quest 2 works just fine. So for me, it's more like I don't need it. So any sale is going to be great. Like it doesn't need to be $100. It could just be the $50, just to get me a little closer to kind of not breaking even, but you know what I mean, kind of cushioning the blow a little bit when I sell my Quest 2, you know,
right?
Because obviously it's not going to fully cover the new one. But so yeah, Sony hates its customers, and they just need the new CEO in there sooner than later. Get Shuhei.
Please.
There's anyone. All right. This that was weird. My Google Chrome thought was going to crash there for a second.
Oh, no.
We're all good. We're good. It's all good.
Oh, okay.
This last news story comes to us from Darren Bonthus over at GameSpot. We got a Marvel Spider-Man 2 review roundup. That's right. Ahead of its release later this week, reviews for Spider-Man 2 have gone live following on from the events of 2018 Spider-Man and 2022 Spider-Man Miles Morales. The sequel teams both of New York's resident arachnid-themed heroes up for a tale that pits them against the likes of the Lizard, Kraven the Hunter, and Venom. Like previous Spider-Man stories, the Venom symbiote is first introduced as a powerful and corruptive force that attaches itself to Peter Parker, transforming the noble hero into a darker and more brutal vigilante before the two eventually separate and the alien organism finds a new host and also gets much more swole in the process. Okay. So far,
editorializing.
Yeah, right. So far, reviews range are all highly positive. While some critics have pointed out the game is more refinement than evolution, and that the open world is full of the usual busy work associated with the genre, outlets have also praised the story, pacing, and improvements across the board to the established gameplay. There's quite a bit of Marvel Spider-Man's 2 that can be summed up as more of the same. Granted, that's a good thing. Both the original game and Miles Morales focused follow-up feature fantastic reimaginings of their respective Spider-Men, exhilarating web swinging, and superb combat mechanics, Jordan Ramey wrote on GameSpot's Marvel Spider-Man 2 review. Who wouldn't just want more of that? And sure, more of what came before does mean that Spider-Man 2 retreads less successful ground, like the first game's buzz-killing science puzzle. However, the good far outweighs the bad, and a few new gameplay mechanics freshen up aspects of both traversal and combat. Altogether, it's a great game, and one well worth seeing all the way through from its bombastic beginning to its emotional end. Right now, it has a current Metacritic score of 91. I just checked it out there. Out of 91 reviews, I think. Let's see. Oh, no, it's up to 120,
no, it's
122 critic reviews now. It was at 91 at the time of this article, but from outlets that puts the game on par with several of 2023's biggest hits. For a quick look at what critics have to say, look below. So GameSpot gave it an 8 out of 10. IGN gave it an 8 out of 10. Game Informer with a 9.5 out of 10. VGC 5 out of 5. Games Radar 5 out of 5. VG 24/7 5 out of 5. Forbes gave it an 8.5. Gaming Bible gave it a 9. So high praise, high marks. Well, I am curious. I want to read here. Like, what are some of the thoughts on? So, like, IGN gave it an 8. What's Simon Cardy says as a sequel? Too many webs. As a sequel in a spectacular series, Marvel's Spider-Man 2 is both blessed and cursed. Its story of two Spider-Men is a great time, and a Spidey fan's dream to play through its comic book pages are brought to life, elegantly walking the tightrope between light humor and heavier themes. Meanwhile, Insomniac refines a successful formula of combat and web swinging without revolutionizing either in major ways, making them comfy and familiar with just enough tweaks and abilities to elevate them to find new heights. So I gave it an 8 out of 10, but that little write-up didn't have anything negative there necessarily, but I think the biggest negative seems to be it's just kind of there is sections that's more the same, which doesn't seem like a bad thing to me. I love the first Spider-Man and Miles Morales. Like, I don't know.
I feel like I know what we signed up for when we play these games. I don't know why they're expecting them to reinvent the wheel.
Yeah. Oh shoot, we got rated by Steph Babies. What's up, Steph Babies?
Yo.
They say happy birthday or else. Oh shoot. Welcome in, Raiders.
You better have a happy birthday. Man, we getting threats left and right. We got threatened by GamerBot. Now we getting threatened by Steph.
By Gaming Avengers. Jeez. That's awesome. Thank you very much for the birthday wishes and the birthday raid. But yeah, so with Spider-Man though, I don't know. Like is any of this a red flag to you at all?
No, not even close.
Yeah.
The scores are exactly what I thought they were going to be. Majority of them are very high. This is, you know what though? Congratulations to Insomniac, because this is, I think, their highest rated game ever, if I'm not mistaken. So that goes without saying. We all knew it was going to be good, right? There's no way it was going to be bad based on the first two games alone. You got Spider-Man, which was great. Miles is arguably even better than that, and now we got this, which is better than both of them put together. It's extremely hard to pull off a really good trilogy, and they did it. They did it.
Yeah. And I mean, it sounds like from the reviews too, like they nailed it with just the melding of the two characters. Like they did. Spider-Man was great following Peter Parker. Miles Morales was incredible following Miles. The fact that they can come out with Spider-Man 2 and then tell a compelling story while allowing you to control two separate Spider-Man, and I assume have two separate stories going on, like that's honestly to me sounds like a pretty incredible feat to do.
I don't know how they pulled it off.
Yeah, and from what I've seen, there hasn't been too many. Like I haven't seen any negatives on as far as the story, especially in like it specifically with like having both those stories coinciding in the same game, like where they could have easily. Someone could have been like, oh man, the Peter story didn't feel fleshed out all the way. Or like, man, they really did a disservice to Miles. Like, I haven't seen that in the reviews I've read, which is
none. That's
impressive, honestly. So yeah, I'm stoked for this game. I just hope that, well, I mean, we talked about it last week. Like, hey, if they can't work things out in the workplace, then, you know, we're fine with skipping the game. But so seeing these reviews is kind of like, oh shoot. Man,
yeah, but we also haven't heard anything about they haven't officially gone on strike. Sega's not officially gone on strike.
That's true.
And we also don't know when the next meeting is going to be.
Yeah.
So it's as far as, you know, legal concern, not legal, but like ethical concerns, you're still in the clear. I don't think anything's going to happen between now and Thursday, but you never know. If we hear about somebody, you know, if we hear about SAG going on strike before Thursday, it's on. Fair game. We're done. But until then.
Okay, so I couldn't remember when it came out. So it is the 20th. It is a Thursday.
It's Friday.
Right?
Oh, Thursday night.
Thursday night. Yeah. Crazy. Man.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, I just, speaking of games coming out soon too, I had a voucher left over on Nintendo on Switch.
Oh,
because when I bought Tears of the Kingdom, you pay like $100 and you get 2 game vouchers. So you get the games for $50 a piece. I got Tears of the Kingdom at the beginning of the year and I saved it for Super Mario Brothers Wonder. And I just redeemed it. I downloaded it, and now I'm just waiting for it to unlock on the 24th.
You gotta tell me how it is.
I mean, I'm sure it's gonna be amazing. But
oh yeah, based off the demo I played. Oh yeah.
My biggest problem now, though, is I think that's the same day the Metal Gear Solid Collection comes out. And I pre-ordered that. I pre-ordered that on Steam, so I'm gonna have it on my Steam.
Are you gonna play the game you played 1,000 times? Or are you gonna play Mario Wonder? Get out of here!
It's gonna be tough, dude. Mario Wonder or Metal Gear Solid on my Steam Deck
that you've played 100 times already?
I don't understand. I don't get your point. That doesn't make.
Okay, you do. You do.
Do I?
Yeah. You.
Steph in the chat says, you've played those before in all caps. shaking my head. I'm sorry. But seriously,
we know they're good.
They're good.
We played them.
Okay, I'm sorry. I take that back. I will not be playing Metal Gear Solid. Wink. I'll definitely be playing Super Mario Brothers Wonder. Wink.
Oh boy.
Well,
Don't. I got nothing to do with this. Okay, if I could play Mario, I would. But
I think
I'm gonna play
the
Metal Gear.
24th. I'll actually be flying on the 24th. So
if there's a Steam Deck in your bag that day, we're gonna have words.
This is I mean, maybe.
No,
I'll be taking both. Don't worry, I'm taking both to New York. We're gonna be there for 2 weeks. I will definitely be taking both. The question is what I'm gonna have in my backpack on the plane, and that's where things get iffy.
If we get to Whatcha Playing next week, and I hear anything other than what I expect to hear, I'm just cut you off. Be like, "Yep, Metal Gear's a good game. All right, here's what I've been playing." Because what are you gonna have to say about it? Oh, it's a port of Metal Gear. It's the same game as before.
So let me tell you, have you guys heard of this new game that just came out, Metal Gear Solid? All right, so here's the deal. There's this guy. His name is Snake. He gets pulled out of retirement in Alaska to go fight terrorists. It's crazy. Completely new concept.
Yes, of course.
Oh, man. All right. I get it. I'll play Mario. Shucks.
Oh, man.
Darn.
Gotta play the new Mario game. What a horrible problem to have.
Life just is so tough, dude. All right, that is it for the nerdy nudes this week. So now it's time for us to talk about our Patreon. That is right. This is the part of the show where I tell you to go over to patreon.com/supergamerboys to, is that the URL? I am flubbing hard here.
You made the Patreon.
I made the thing. What's our URL? No, that's it. Patreon.com/supergamerboys. See, I liked.
We always make it almost all the way through, and then it just my
mind just melts.
I mean, you are old, so you have an excuse at this point.
I turned 30 today, dude. Yeah,
you did.
Brain just melting away.
But you just you short circuit all like your, I don't know what it is, like your battery pack, like when you start to get, that's what it is. You know how when your phone gets that low battery warning and it kind of stutters before it comes up? That's what's going on. Your battery pack is getting the low battery.
It's getting low.
You get that little stutter and you just kind of forget when you switch into low power mode.
I had my venti free coffee from Starbucks today because they get you the free birthday drink. And I had that at 3:30. So now it's wearing off now. I've been on a caffeine high. Been on a caffeine high for the past 3 hours, just hands shaking and everything. And now I'm I'm crashing. That caffeine
hard.
It's hard. Mid-ad.
Physically and mentally.
Anyways, you can support us over at patreon.com/supergamerboys, where you can get episodes early and ad-free, such as this show. If you're not watching live, when we record it over on Twitch and YouTube Monday nights, you can get it pretty much immediately afterwards. I edit it out, get the MP3 to you guys as soon as possible, as well as links to the stream VOD. So if you want early access, get it before everyone else does later on in the week. Start at $1 a month, and you also get access to Super Later Boys. We're at episode 3 right now. It's available. That last one was a really fun one. We had DJ Trues on talking about his music making process, and got real nerdy with just some cool music stuff, which I really enjoyed. I think you will too. If you want to be even more awesome, we got the $5 tier where you can get show notes early. So you know what we're going to talk about ahead of time. So Sunday when I sent those notes out, you can leave your own questions, comments, concerns, thoughts right on the show notes. You can see all the news stories, all the listener questions, what we've been playing, and leave your feedback that we read live on the air. So if you want to have your thoughts heard and you're not able to make it Monday and hang out in the chat, well, support us at $5 a month. You can get those show notes and see exactly what we're talking about and be a part of the show. $10 a month, you can be a Super Gamer sponsor. You get a shout out at the top of each and every episode. And then the top dog tier, we got our Patreon producers, where you can be a part of the show in an even bigger way, whether it's being a guest on an episode, helping us pitch segments for different shows, or if you just love what we do. We had a really cool interaction this last week with a Patreon producer. It was with Bumble Smash, where he was just like, I don't even listen to the Patreon feed, but I just enjoy your guys' stuff. And that meant a lot. So I know he's probably not listening to this he is listening to this because he doesn't listen to the Patreon feed. So Bubble Smash, you're the man, as well as all you other folks who support us on Patreon. Thank you all so much for just enjoying what we make and supporting us over there. We appreciate it. So if you want to be cool, like I said, patreon.com/supergamerboys. And last but not least, if you want to support us here on Twitch, twitch.tv/thesupergamerboys, you can subscribe to our channel for free. That's right. If you have Amazon Prime, you can link it to your Twitch account and use your free Prime Gaming sub. Cost you $0. We get $5. And we really, really appreciate the support that we get from you folks over here. And you get access to a few emotes that are fun. My favorite one is the Adrian Hype emote. I use that 99% of the time. It's just like the perfect face, and then the animation with it be like, so good. So if you want access to the Adrian Hype, or my pain face, or to I think we have one that just says flippity flop, just like at the end of each and every episode, that actually flip flops. Go ahead and support us on Twitch with that free sub. We very much appreciate it. All right, that is it for the ad. Now let's get back to the show. All right, Adrian, it's now time for me to ask you this very, very important question. What you playing?
What am I playing? Let me see.
What is you playing?
I only got a couple of things, actually. I recently finally got to the end of it. Not finally as in bad, but like been so much going on. I replayed through Super Mario RPG to get back in the groove and get the memories of flowing. So because the remake is coming out next month. And
I couldn't remember when it was coming out. That's pretty soon.
Coming out in November. Yeah, so I wanted to be ready for it and see what was going on.
Probably won't.
What all the
I'll
changes and
Metal
improvement.
Gear,
Oh yeah, I'm sure you will. Yeah, so I finished that. Still a fantastic game. If you have not played the original and you are interested in it, I would say you wouldn't be in the wrong to wait for the remake. But the original is still very, very good. So you also have a great time playing that.
It's on Switch Online, right? On the
no, unfortunately, because it's technically a Square Enix game, or I'm sorry, it's a Square game. This was before they even did Square Soft.
For some reason, I thought it was on there, but
not before or after.
Interesting.
No.
Okay.
So you can. I put it on my SNES Classic and played it that way.
Okay. Nice.
But if you can get your hands on the game in any form or fashion, because it's technically not for sale at the moment, definitely do it. The other thing I've been playing, I'm still making my way through Dragon Quest. It's I've said it before, it's a comfort game for me, so I just kind of, hop in there and get lost for a little while, maybe a couple hours, and then hop back out. It's a fantastic game. I say it every time. I'm going to keep saying it. Also, side note, where is Dragon Quest 12? We haven't heard anything about that since they announced it like a year and some change ago. I remember staying up real late too to watch I think it was like 2 a.m. when they did the press conference where they announced it, and I haven't heard a peep out of them since. Like, this was supposed to be like the adult Dragon Quest. This is,
so that's
super edgy.
I just did a quick Google search, and the last update that I can see is from June 27th of this year. It says Dragon Quest 12 apparently facing development difficulties as they target adult audiences and deal with remote work.
No.
So, Yeah, some employees have not come to the office for about a year, and some don't even use the company's computers, preferring to work from home. And they, having trouble communicating over Zoom and stuff like that. So doesn't sound good.
They need to call Insomniac and figure out how they did it.
Right.
Because Insomniac was killing it during the pandemic. They were still getting games out.
They were getting it done.
Going crazy. Yeah, exactly. That's unfortunate to hear.
Yeah, that's especially it's 2023. Like, either figure it out or
delay it
or get them back in the studio, figure something out. I don't know. Like, there has to be ways to make it like set up areas
feasible,
where they can set up areas where there's just, hey, they can, whatever. I don't know. There's lots of solutions. It's kind of wild that that's still an issue in 2023. Like, I don't know. There's ways to either meet their demands, not demands, the word, like if there's certain
requests,
requests they have, then like that should be easy to meet, right? Or if not, like figure it out. Like, other companies have figured out how to work remotely. Like, what's going on? That's wild.
Could just be Square being Square. They do a lot of boneheaded stuff. I think they're still trying to do NFT stuff when NFTs are worthless. So,
oh no.
Yeah, well, but that's what I've been up to. What about yourself?
Well, we played another game together, actually. Was that Thursday?
That's right, we did.
We finally played Payday 3.
Payday 3.
One of our Patreon producers, Bumple Smash, who I mentioned earlier, as well as another friend from the Discord, Blank Burrito. That was a lot of fun. It's been like weeks, you and I just being like, we want to play with someone, anyone, like, please. Like, we want to play this game, but we need a squad of 4. And finally, like, after multiple attempts on the Discord, like, I feel like you posted about it once, I posted about it once, and finally I posted about it again. I was just like, hey, who's available to play Payday 3? And all of a sudden, like,
you came in there like a dad. Hey, we're playing Payday.
We're playing Payday, whether you like it or not. Get in the car.
Get in the chat. Get in the Discord.
The Bumble Smash and Blank Burrito pulled through for us, and that
game is great.
That game was a lot of fun. It was
buggy.
It's buggy. Like, there's a couple times, the first few rounds we did, we had to keep like shutting down the game, like totally restarting the game, like closing out completely, restarting it, and then jumping back into a lobby. We kept getting matchmaking errors, which is wild because it was a private lobby. Like, we don't need to matchmake. Just put us, like, we already have a lobby. You can only have 4 players, and there's 4 of us. Just put us in a server somewhere, right? But that's
I think the crossplay
was
kicking its butt.
That's the other thing
I can think of.
Yeah, that's the other thing. So it does have crossplay, and we were stressing the heck out of it. So I was on PC, but on Game Pass. Bumble Smash was on PC, but on Steam. Adrian was on PS5, and Blank Burrito was on Xbox. So literally all the systems that's available on, we were using all of them. And it's like putting it to the test, all 4 places you could possibly play.
That little netcode was like, in Spider-Man, like,
to me?
Yeah. When he's on the train, trying to hold the train back.
On the front of the subway, just like,
yeah.
Just trying to hold it together. Oh man. Yeah, that's exactly what's going on. But yeah, once we were in there, dude, that was so much fun. It has the ability to like do missions quiet and stealthy, but what I love is like at a moment's notice, you can just be like, screw it. To start just like mowing people down.
I know that's what you did. There's no way we were doing so good in some of those missions. We're like, oh man, we're almost done. All we got to do is steal this one thing and get out of here. And then you hear boom, like a grenade go off. What happened?
That was what happened. That one, it was I meant to hit the reload button because I fired my, or no, what was I doing? Oh no, that's what it was.
Chaos.
That's what it was. Because you hit on keyboard on PC, you hit G to put your mask on, and I was like, oh, if I hit G again, does it take my mask off? No. Once your mask is on, the G button turns the mask to grenade, and so all of a sudden I hit G, and I see this guy. He brings his hand up and goes chink, and I'm like, oh, and I just held it. Like I didn't want to throw it. I don't know why I didn't throw it, but I just held it. I was in the room.
If you threw it, it would have been worse. It would have exploded on somebody.
It would have killed everyone. But instead, I mean, it blew me up, and someone else was in the room with me. It was like either you and one other person was in the room, and you're like, "What just happened?" Just flashbanged everyone and like took a bunch of health away. Sorry, this is me.
And then you see a bunch of red exclamation points all around us because it's all the guards have been alerted now.
We're in that was at the jewelry store, right? We're in a jewelry store and a grenade goes off in the manager's office. Like, what is going on? And then what was the other one that
we got to firefight our way out of it?
The very first mission, the robbing the bank, we almost had all the bags out, and all of a sudden one of the security guards he saw me, but he was suspicious. But I was like, no worries, I'll just go back into the room or whatever. Well, like the door shut on me or something, and so I got stuck. And I turned around. I went to crouch behind a barrier. Instead of hitting crouch, I hit G. But at this point, I didn't have my mask on. But what happens when you put a mask on in front of a security officer? It's instant alarm. So like I'm staring at the security guard, and I just go, whoosh, slide my mask on and pull a gun out, and he's like, whoa! And the next thing you know, the cops are there, and it's chaos. I'm like, why? I tried to hit crouch, and I hit mask.
No, what happened was you got too feisty. You were trying to rob the keys off of them, didn't know how to do it.
That was another time. That was another. Yeah, you're right. That was another time. Because yeah, you were right there. You were like sneaking up, and I just like run in the room and go to hit steal.
Freaking Leroy Jenkins over here.
Leroy Jenkins.
I'm like, okay, I'm watching his route. I'm getting ready to go. I'm gonna go sneak up behind him, and all I see is Garrett come from behind me. Shoo! What's the button? What's the button to rob him? What's the button?
Oh, it was so much fun. Payday 3 is amazing. If anyone else ever wants to play, let us know. Like, I mean, I'm down to play with Bumble Smash and Burrito again. Like, that was incredible. But again, like, the more the merrier. If anyone's interested and looking for someone to join them, like, hit me up. Like, I'm always down. That game is so fun. Just so chaotic. At a moment's notice, it goes from like, all right, we're being this freaking Mission Impossible, we're killing it. And the next thing you know, it's like, nope.
One day we're gonna be able to do a mission start to finish. We almost had that gallery one.
The gallery one, and even the nightclub. We did that nightclub for a long time. Remember?
Yeah.
And it wasn't until like the very, very end. Same thing. Like I think someone got hung up somewhere, and then it like, all hell breaks loose. It's great. So I played that, and then the other thing I played is gonna just you guys are gonna think I'm crazy, but after a rowdy Thursday night, Friday, I was like, I just want something chill, laid back, but new, different, you know. So what do I
Power Wash Simulator? Let's go.
What do I fire up on my Nintendo Switch? Pokemon Legends Arceus. That's right.
I don't think you're crazy at all.
That's the thing. It's not a bad game, but it's just like such a wild card. Like of all games I could have fired up, like this game from like a couple years ago, like last year or whatever, just out of left field. But yeah, I was just like, I want a chill game, but yeah, I want it to be new and fresh. I'm like, this is the game right here, because Pokemon is always chill, laid back, relaxed, not high stress or tension or anything like that. But one of the cool things with Legends Arceus is like they took the normal Pokemon formula and just like tweaked it just enough. Like the whole point of it is like it takes place at basically the beginning inception of like, hey, we don't even understand what Pokemon are. Here's a Pokeball made of wood, and you know, Pokemon can attack you and kill you, you know, like that type of thing. Like this is very different from a typical Pokemon. And so I didn't get far into it. I only played for like an hour and a half or whatever, which my previous complaint with the game was like, man, there's just a lot of tutorial before you really get into it. But honestly, this time that's what I was looking for, and I was just having a blast. So yeah, I kind of tinkered with that a little bit and set up I already had it set up, but I re-logged into my Pokemon Home account and everything, because my hope is like, well, I was at the beginning of the game and I'm like, I don't know what starter to pick. I want all of them. And so I looked it up online, like, is there a way to get all three? There is a way to get all three without trading. But then I also saw you can pull in any Pokemon you want from Pokemon Home. So I'm like, sweet, I'll catch it. There's a lot of Pokemon I've caught on Pokemon Go, you know, catch it there.
Smart.
Bring it in. Good to go. So that way I can fill up my Pokedex with all the Pokemon Go Pokemon I've got. So yeah. So I spent time playing Pokemon Legends and then setting up my Pokemon home. So if anyone else is playing Legends Arceus, let me know. I might be looking for some trades here in a few weeks. We'll see.
Well, good. I'm glad to hear that's working out for you.
Yeah, it was a real, out of nowhere pick, but I don't know, it was really fun and just kind of like, again, refreshing, especially with like the kind of frustration that Pokemon Scarlet and Violet were. It's kind of nice to play a Pokemon game and be like, oh no, this actually runs well and feels good and has some cool mechanics,
Right.
And it's semi-open world as well, just like Scarlet and Violet did, but it works. It's not 15 frames per second or whatever.
With repeating textures that I can easily take apart in my mind.
Yeah.
Like it's a Nintendo 64 game or something.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, cool. Well, that is it for this week's show. Thank you all so much for listening. We appreciate each and every one of you, especially all those who have taken time out of their day to watch this video over on youtube.com/supergamerboys or listen to us on podcast services around the globe. Thank you for the download. Thank you for the view. Make sure if you're on YouTube, give us a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. Those are both 3 things you can do that help this video get to more people. Leaving comments is great too. Positive or negative. You know what? We're Teflon. People leave negative all the time. And you know what? Well, it sticks a little bit. But just like Teflon, you give a little scrape.
Now for me, so I forget they even happened like the day after.
I know. Adrian's just like, we put out a podcast?
Right.
This is tomorrow.
Good luck. I could not tell you what we talked about last week.
Oh, I mean, no, 100%. I can't remember what I talked about in an hour. Like I'm editing the podcast. I'm like, oh, I said that? Oh, okay. All right. You've been putting up those shorts. Speaking of, go on TikTok. Well, everywhere, TikTok, Instagram, wherever we're at Super Gamer Boys. Adrian's been making up some shorts, which is awesome, and reels or whatever they're called, TikToks. Why don't they just give them all the same name? It'd be so much easier.
I don't know.
Make a little clip and yeah, sometimes you post those. I'm like, oh wow, those are some. I said some good things there, or sometimes like I said that was really unintelligent, but it's still great nonetheless. So.
This week's gonna be tough.
What's that?
I said this week's gonna be tough. This was a really in-depth episode. Like,
yeah.
I don't know if there's gonna be anything that's like, wow, we're screaming, entertaining.
Yeah, that's
that.
Fine. That's all right.
Clips usually do well with, but we'll figure it out.
So again, thank you for listening. If you love what we do and want to support us, remember you can head over to patreon.com/supergamerboys, starting at just $1 a month. We'd appreciate all the support over there, and we do appreciate, and we would appreciate, that's what I was trying to say. We do appreciate all you who support us over there, and look forward to seeing all you newbies coming in as well. If you want some sweet merch and you want to help support us that way, sgbstore.com. You can buy some t-shirts. We got coffee mugs. We got sweaters. Got all the fun stuff. So think about supporting us over there. Shout out to DJ Trues once again for allowing us to use their music. Find them on Apple Music and Spotify. Links will be in the show description. During the week, you can find us over at supergamerboys.com, Twitter and Instagram at supergamerboys. I'm on Twitter and Instagram at gmorlang. Adrian, where can they find you at?
You can find me any and everywhere at Homeboy.
That is right. And with that, I'm done. That's all I got. So
sweet. Take us on home. Folks, thank you for hanging out with us for another week of the Super Gamer Boys podcast. We appreciate you, as we always say, any way that you choose to interact with us, whether it be right here on the live stream, catching us on a VOD or a podcast service. We also, are grateful for anybody who wants to support us monetarily on Patreon. It helps us keep this here thing going and get games when things are looking a little crazy. Or, have we ever bought pizza? Like have a pizza party?
I don't
That
think
might be something we need to put on the...
That would be cool. Yeah,
we put on the docket.
We need to just do like a cool game night, stream night together where we just order pizzas for you and me and then just play some games together on
I'm not opposed to that.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
But yeah, everybody, we appreciate you. We love you and thank you for hanging out with us. It's mind-blowing. It seems like we're growing more and more by the day, the way that things are going. So hopefully we can keep this momentum up. And we hope to have you along with us for wherever we end up. And with that, we'll see you soon. We are the Super Gamer Boys.
And we'll catch you on the flippity flop.
I'm gonna play Metal Gear. Oh boy.
Metal Gear.
Mario Wonder, the biggest Mario Wonder game we've had in a long time. You're gonna play Metal Gear again for the 50th time.
Can't stop me now.
Colonel, why am I not playing Mario?